Maurice Kenner, Circuit Public Defender for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit, which serves Fulton County. Welcome to this edition of The Defender. As part of the Georgia Public Defender Council, our team advocates for those who are charged with a crime and who are within a certain income threshold. Our public defenders fight for the best possible outcome because we believe that everyone deserves fairness and mercy. Today's guest has served this office for over 30 years and currently serves as the Deputy Director of Litigation Services for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit. She manages all services, and her role is to ensure that indigent defendants in Fulton County are provided with their constitutional right to a public defender. Deputy Public Defender LaWanna Walsh, welcome.
Happy to be here.
When people are faced with arrest, they are scared, confused, and unsure where to turn. What is the importance of public defenders in our judicial system?
Public defenders are an essential part of the court system. We work very hard to ensure that our clients' constitutional rights are being addressed. But beyond that, we also want to be sure that any services that they need are provided and that we are protecting their constitutional rights at every step along the way.
What is the process for someone to apply for a public defender? Could you walk us through each step of the application process?
Certainly. There are different ways that a person can get the services of a public defender. If someone is arrested, they're taken to the Fulton County Jail. Within 72 hours of that arrest, they are entitled to appear in front of a judge. Before that happens, they may make a request for a public defender. A member of our staff will meet with them, walk through the application process, and make sure that they qualify.
What information is needed for the application process? Are there any specific documents or pieces of information that applicants should have readily available?
That documentation is not necessary at the first application process, particularly for those people who are in custody. They won't often have that. For people who are out on bond, however, they can apply for the services of a public defender. Our application is online. They can either bring that application down to our office or they can mail it in to us. We prefer that they do that in advance of court dates, and if they come down to our office, it would be helpful if they brought with them any pay stubs, any leases or other bills that they regularly pay that might affect their ability to hire a private attorney.
Who is eligible to apply for a public defender? Are there any restrictions on who can receive the services of a public defender?
Our office our office does not represent people who are facing the death sentence. Every other person who has a criminal case that arises in Fulton County is eligible for our services. We will qualify people according to the guidelines issued by the federal poverty guidelines.
What are the financial requirements for someone to qualify for a public defender? How is financial need determined, and what documents are required to prove eligibility?
We use the same guidelines that are established in the federal poverty guidelines. We will look at someone's ability to pay as established through other obligations that they have, including rent, bills, child support payments, or other payments that they have that would affect their ability to hire a private attorney.
What happens if someone is denied a public defender? Are there any other resources available to help individuals who are unable to afford an attorney?
Public defenders represent the majority of people who come into the Fulton County Courthouse. There are individual attorneys or sometimes non-governmental organizations that may offer assistance, but we are not a part of that process in any way.
How long does the application process typically take? Are there any factors that can impact the length of that process?
We are able to qualify a person on the same day that they ask for our services. If we are meeting people while they're in custody in jail, we will review their application the same day and make the determination. If people are out on bond, we ask them to come in ahead of their court date, but we should have an answer for them as to whether they qualify or not in advance of their court date.
Are there any important deadlines that someone should be aware of when applying for a public defender? For example, is there a deadline to apply to or submit documentation?
A person can apply for a public defender at any time. However, the ideal time would be in advance before any court dates come up. it's best to come in, apply for a public defender, or ask again at the jail for an application for a public defender, so that we can meet with the clients in advance of any court dates and be sure to have had a conversation with them before that court date. If a person has not applied for a public defender in advance of a court date, however, they still may make an application at that point, either in person at the courthouse or by coming to any of our offices.
Once someone is approved for a public defender, what should they expect in terms of communication and representation? How often will they communicate with their attorney, and what types of updates should they expect to receive?
At a minimum, our attorneys will speak with their clients before each court date. We will also be sure to be staying in touch with our clients at all intervals along the process of handling their cases. So before any court date, we'll be sure to be in touch with them. If we make phone calls, we have Zoom calls with them. In advance of any court hearings, we will be in touch with them, and we will communicate regularly all along the process.
What role does the public defender play in the defendant's case? Could you explain how the public defender supports and advocates for their clients?
Definitely. We want to be sure that we understand the client's case. We make sure that we have meetings with them regularly. When we meet with them, we will share with them what the state's case is, what evidence has been brought against them. We will meet with them to be sure that we understand their case. We will engage one of our investigators to help us to gather evidence. We'll go out to the community to talk to witnesses, issue subpoenas, talk to anybody who might have information that has a bearing on the case. After we've done our preliminary investigations, we will also go to court. We will advocate, argue motions, engage in plea negotiations. We will try cases to a jury or a bench when necessary. We will engage services of our mitigation specialists and social workers to see if we can divert a case away from the public, away from the court system, and get our clients into services that will help them instead of going through the legal process.
How important is it for someone to have legal representation, especially if they cannot afford to hire their own attorney? What are some of the potential consequences of not having an attorney, and how can the public defender help to mitigate those consequences?
I think it is clear that the people who have no legal services suffer more dire consequences than those who do have an attorney who represent them. The criminal justice system, the court system, is very complicated. Laws are not necessarily easily understood. Navigating the system is difficult for anyone who is not familiar with how to do that. People who don't have a lawyer to represent them often will suffer from more serious sentencing. They will have more difficulty having their defenses heard, and they may suffer from having criminal convictions that might have been avoided, which have an effect on civil rights, on ability to get jobs, and their overall outcome in the court system.
What are some common misconceptions about public defenders?
I think that most people don't know that our public defenders are among the best lawyers in the county. Our attorneys are attorneys who choose to be public defenders to offer service to clients who are in need. They have training that is specific to criminal defense work, and they have a heart for service in representing clients who are often marginalized and overrepresented in the court system. Our attorneys not only have the heart to do the work, but are also trained to do the work.
Ms. Walsh, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much for the hard work that you do and the citizens that you serve.
It's been my pleasure.
In the Public Defender's Office, we consider it an absolute privilege to serve the citizens of Fulton County through our unwavering commitment to providing indigent defendants with the legal representation they truly deserve. As the largest public defender office in Georgia, we handle a tremendous volume of cases, surpassing any other office in the state. This significant responsibility underscores our determination to ensure that every client receives the full protection of their guaranteed constitutional rights. From the moment of arrest, our dedicated team of attorneys and staff stand united in our mission to provide effective and zealous legal representation. We accompany our clients through every stage of the legal process, extending our support beyond arrest. No matter the magnitude or complexity of the case, we possess the expertise and commitment to handle all our clients' needs. Our office has established a specialized division focusing on cases involving accountability courts. These specialized courts include drug, behavioral health, and veterans courts. We aim to achieve rehabilitative justice by offering tailored programs and support. The benefits from the litigation support services further solidifies our mission to ensure fair and comprehensive representation. The role of a public defender is one that constantly evolves to meet the ever-changing needs of the individuals we serve. We take great pride in collaborating with the citizens of Fulton County to guarantee everyone, regardless of their circumstances, receives the necessary legal representation within our courts. Our dedication extends beyond the courtroom as we strive to educate our community about their rights and available resources. It is important to emphasize that our services are provided free of charge to those who qualify based on their financial need. We firmly believe that access to justice should not be determined by one's financial means, and we are committed to ensuring that equal representation is available to all. If you or someone you know may need our services, please visit our website at gapubdef.org. Thank you for tuning in to The Defender. I'm Maurice Kenner, and on behalf of our entire team, we look forward to keeping you informed. Until the next time, take care.